Hi, welcome back. Tonight we're going to get through the second half of my bookshelf. This is my favorite mystery / thriller shelf. Okay, here's our shelf. We made it through this half in the first video. And so we're going to tackle this half tonight. So this is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. Okay. Vermont, 1950. There's a place for the girls whom no one wants, the troublemakers, the illegitimate, the too smart for their own good. It's called Idlewild Hall, and in the small town where it's located, there are rumors that the boarding school is haunted. 4 roommates bond over their whispered fears, their budding friendship blossoming until one of them mysteriously disappears. Vermont, 2014. As much as she's tried, journalist Fiona Sheridan cannot stop revisiting the events surrounding her elder sister's death. 20 years ago, her body was found dumped in the overgrown fields near the ruins of Idlewild Hall. And though her sister's boyfriend was tried and convicted of murder, Fiona can't shake the suspicion that something was never right about the case. When Fiona discovers that Idlewild Hall is being restored by an anonymous benefactor, she decides to write a story about it. But a shocking discovery during the renovations will link the loss of her sister to secrets that were meant to stay hidden in the past, and a voice that won't be silenced. The Sundown Motel, also by Simone St. James. Something hasn't been right at the roadside Sundown Motel for a very long time. And Carly Kirk is about to find out why in this chilling new novel from the best-selling and award-winning author of The Broken Girls. Upstate New York, 1982. Viv Delaney wants to move to New York City, and to help pay for it, she takes a job as the night clerk at the Sundown Motel in Fell, New York. But something isn't right at the motel. Something haunting and scary. Upstate New York, 2017. Carly Charlie Kirk has never been able to let go of the story of her Aunt Viv, who mysteriously disappeared from the sundown before she was born. Carly decides to move to Fell and visit the motel, where she quickly learns that nothing has changed since 1982, and she soon finds herself ensnared in the same mysteries that claimed her aunt. I really need to read more by this author because I love how there's a little bit of a ghost story element to her books. I don't usually like that because I'm scared, but I think this author does it well. Everyone in my family has killed someone. Everyone in my family has killed someone. Some of us, the high achievers, have killed more than once. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it is the truth. Some of us are good, others are bad, and some just unfortunate. Have I killed someone? Yes, I have. Who was it? Let's get started. Everyone in my family has killed someone. My brother, my stepsister, my wife, my father, my mother, my sister-in-law, my uncle, my stepfather, my aunt, me. This one was really, really good. I remember it being sort of funny too. Like it really kind of sounds serious from the back, but it was funny. Seven and a half deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. The rules of Blackheath. Evelyn Hardcastle will be murdered at 11 p.m. There are 8 days and 8 witnesses for you to inhabit. We will only let you escape once you tell us the name of the killer. Understood? Then let's begin. Evelyn Hardcastle will die every day until Aidan Bishop can identify her killer and break the cycle. But every time the day begins again, Aidan wakes up in the body of a different guest, and some of his hosts are more helpful than others. The most inventive debut of the year twists together a mystery of such unexpected creativity, it will leave readers guessing until the very last page. I feel like that was not a very good description at all. There's so much more to this, but it's been a long time since I've read it. The Devil in the Dark Water. I just realized I haven't been saying the author's name, but this is Stuart Turton, and he also wrote the last book. Okay, so the back says, a murder on the high seas, a detective duo, a demon who may or may not exist. It's 1634, and Samuel Pepys, the world's greatest detective, is being transported to Amsterdam to be executed for a crime he may or may not have committed. Traveling with him is his loyal bodyguard, Errant Hayes, who's determined to prove his friend innocent. Among the other guests is Sarah Wessel, a noblewoman with a secret. But no sooner is their ship out to sea than devilry begins to blight the voyage. A strange symbol appears on the sail. A dead leper stalks the decks. Livestock dies in the night. And then the passengers hear a terrible voice whispering to them in the darkness, promising 3 unholy miracles, followed by a slaughter. First, an impossible pursuit. Second, an impossible theft. And third, an impossible murder. Could a demon be responsible for their misfortunes? With Pepys imprisoned, only Errant and Sarah can solve a mystery that stretches back into their past and now threatens to sink the ship, killing everybody on board. The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. In this tightly wound, enthralling story, reminiscent of Agatha Christie's works, Lo Blacklock, a journalist who writes for a travel magazine, has just been given the assignment of a lifetime. A week on a luxury cruise with only a handful of cabins. The sky is clear, the waters calm, and the veneered select guests jovial as the exclusive cruise ship, the Aurora, begins her voyage in the picturesque North Sea. At first, Lo's stay is nothing but pleasant. The cabins are plush, the dinner parties are sparkling, and the guests are elegant. But as the week wears on, frigid winds whip the deck. Gray skies fall, and Lo hears what she can only describe as a dark and terrifying nightmare. a woman being thrown overboard. The problem? All passengers and crew members remain accounted for, and so the ship sails on as if nothing has happened, despite Lowe's desperate attempts to convey that something or someone has gone terribly, terribly wrong. With surprising twists, spine-tingling turns, and a setting that proves as uncomfortably claustrophobic as it is eerily beautiful, Ruth Ware offers up another taut and intense read in The Woman in Cabin 10, one that will leave even the most sure-footed reader restlessly uneasy long after the last page is turned. Also by Ruth Ware, The Turn of the Key, from the best-selling author of In a Dark, Dark Wood, which I did not like, The Woman in Cabin 10, The Lying Game, also didn't really like, and The Death of Mrs. Westaway. I thought it was good. Comes Ruth Ware's highly anticipated fifth novel, The Turn of the Key. When Rowan Kane stumbles across the ad, she's looking for something else completely, but it seems like too good an opportunity to miss. A live-in nanny post with a staggeringly generous salary. And when she arrives at Heather Bray House, she is smitten by the luxurious, smart home fitted out with all modern conveniences, by the beautiful Scottish Highlands, and by this picture-perfect family. What she doesn't know is that she's stepping into a nightmare, one that will end with a child dead and herself in prison awaiting trial for murder. Writing to her lawyer from prison, she struggles to explain the unraveling events that led to her incarceration. It wasn't just the constant surveillance from the cameras installed around the house, or the malfunctioning technology that woke the household with booming music or turned the lights off at the worst possible time. It wasn't just the girls, who turned out to be a far cry from the immaculately behaved model children she met at her interview. It wasn't even the way she was left alone for weeks at a time with no adults around, apart from the enigmatic handyman, Jack Grant. It was everything. She knows she's made mistakes. She admits that she lied to obtain the post, and that her behavior toward the children wasn't always ideal. She's not innocent by any means, but she maintains she's not guilty, at least not of murder, which means someone else is. Full of spellbinding menace and signature, suspenseful style. The Turn of the Key is an unput-downable thriller from the Agatha Christie of our time. I do remember as soon as I finished this, I had the feeling of just wanting to start over again because I thought it was that good. Of course, I didn't do that, but I do want to reread this. Okay, and last book we have is One by One by the same author, Ruth Ware. Evoking the snowy seclusion of in a dark, dark wood, the luxe environs of the woman in cabin 10, and the cutting-edge technology of the Turn of the Key, this highly anticipated sixth novel is the Agatha Christie of our time at the top of her game. Getting snowed in at a luxurious, rustic ski chalet high in the French Alps doesn't sound like the worst problem in the world, especially when there's a breathtaking vista of full-service chef and housekeeper, a cozy fire to keep you warm, and others to keep you company. Unless that company happens to be 8 co-workers, each with something to gain, something to lose, and something to hide. When the co-founder of Snoop, a trendy London-based tech startup, organizes a week-long trip for the team in the French Alps, it starts out as a corporate retreat like any other. PowerPoint presentations and strategy sessions broken up by mandatory bonding on the slopes. But as soon as one shareholder upends the agenda by pushing a lucrative but contentious buyout offer, tensions simmer and loyalties are tested. The storm brewing inside the chalet is no match for the one brewing outside, however, and a devastating avalanche leaves the group cut off from all access to the outside world. Even worse, one snooper hadn't made it back from the slopes when the avalanche hit. As each hour passes without any sign of rescue, panic mounts. The chalet grows colder, and the group dwindles further, one by one. I think this is my favorite so far. I haven't read any of her newer ones. I think there maybe are two or three. But this one I think is my favorite that I've read. Okay, so we made it through. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this was